Hey, welcome to the floor, part three. I'm going to call this the crawl before the stand. Now, there is a phase that every process of growth, every genuine process of growth moves through. It's not described very well in most literature centered around personal development or personal growth. And it's not celebrated in the way that the breakthroughs are celebrated. So, in other words, people, they don't really talk about this. They like to talk about the wins and the aha moments and the epiphanies and all of that. But this is something that I think is just as important because but the reason it's not celebrated is it doesn't make good content. It doesn't make good social content. It doesn't get people connecting. Oh, man, I really want that. But I think it's the most important phase in the entire arc of growth. And I mean, for people who don't understand it, they're going to interpret it as failure every time you encounter it. Yet it's actually a substantial presence in the context of growing. And the phase here is the crawling. Now, when you think of crawling, I mean, you think of a child, right? An infant, a baby crawls as it learns to move and it rocks back and two and it's on its hands and it's on its feet and its face hits the floor and hands get raw, knees, elbows get raw. This is not a flattering phase of life, crawling. And I went caving for the first time at the first of this year and went into a cave down in Florida. And I had no idea. I had no idea that I'd be crawling through spaces that my body wouldn't fit through unless I put my hands above my head. And so I had to learn to crawl. And when I got out of that cave after almost 3 hours, my elbows and knees, even with pads on, were sore because crawling is not very comfortable. In the phase of growth, I call crawl, is an inevitable part of growth. But just like a child must crawl before it learns to stand up and walk, we also must learn to crawl. Now, here's the kicker, and I'll talk about this. Crawling is not an indicator of regression. It's an indicator of growth. You think, well, I was walking and running strong, and now all of a sudden I feel like I'm crawling again because you're at a new stage of learning to stand and walk in a new place. And here's how you know that you're in it. When you're pressing against your ceiling. Now, this is part 3 of the floor, and part 2 and 1 are free right here on my channel. So go back and look at that. The ceiling that we talk about in part 1 and 2. You're pressing against it. It's up against your back. It's up against your head. And you're trying to push because you've made a decision to grow. And you've done the work of naming your ceiling and you diagnosed your discomfort. And now you're in motion. But the motion is not what you expected. You thought you'd be standing up and you'd be moving forward. You'd be running, standing proud and tall. No, you're slower than you used to be, less confident. And in quite sense, sometimes in this stage, we're a little uncertain. We feel like we don't know what to expect and we get a little fearful. Things that used to feel automatic now require effort, like deliberate effort. It's like after you have surgery on your hands or you break a foot or a limb or something, you learn to try to walk or maneuver and do fine things. It's weird. It's like, what? I'm trying to hold a screwdriver even, how do I do that? My hand just doesn't feel right. Or usually you just sort of did it. Everything that seemed natural and automatic requires so much effort now that we're so focused on the effort that we feel out of sorts. Things that you understood intellectually are not yet translating into embodied capacity. So you're moving, but the moving feels the word I use is discombobulated, but you almost feel numb. It's very ungraceful. It feels like this is costing me everything, and it's nothing like the version of growth that I had and that I was told and that the culture gave me as a model. I don't understand what's going on. This shouldn't be this way. I should be beyond this, right? Every instinct that you have trained in you is telling you something has gone wrong. But here's the thing. When you find yourself crawling, when you find yourself slowing down, when you find yourself feeling this way, I'll say this slowly, nothing has gone wrong. Nothing. You are crawling in this stage. Crawling is not the failure of expansion. Crawling is the evidence of growth. And here's what is happening in the crawl. Your identity is being uncovered. The architecture of who you are is being rearranged to accommodate the new level of capacity. And in that rearrangement, it's not instantaneous. It's not like poof, and then you wake up and stand up. It doesn't happen in the moment of decision. It never does. It happens in the long, costly, ungraceful middle that most people mistake for regression, the crawl. I mean, think about what it looks like when a building is being renovated. I mean, there's a local bank here that's been in renovation for a while. The building was put up in I think the 50s or 60s, and it's being renovated. They're using the same structure, not built from scratch, but renovated, gutted and rebuilt from the inside. I mean, it's a disaster. It's loud and dusty, and none of the systems work. Sometimes you're not even able to even use the building. It has to be evacuated or relocated, the content. And the contents of it have to be relocated. When we renovated the library here a year or so ago, we had to move all the library operations and everything to a storage garage and set it up like a library for a little while, because the way things operate normally can't work that way when it's being renovated. I mean, the walls are open, the floors are rough, there's material everywhere, and if you did not know what was happening, I mean, you would look at the building and think that it was being destroyed, right? You would not see renovation, you'd see ruin. The crawl of every stage of our life and every path of growth is the renovation stage. The identity systems that served you at the previous level are being restructured for the next level. And during that restructuring, nothing is going to work as smoothly as it did before. I mean, nothing's going to feel as cool as it did before. You're not just going to be like walking in and just feel like, yeah, I got this. You're going to feel like, what is happening? Where did my swagger go? Where did my legs go? Where did my focus go? The confidence that you had in the old structure is not yet available in the new one, because you're learning how to make it work together. The automatic responses that carried you before are being reordered, reconnected, rebuilt. And you, standing in the middle of your own renovation, feel like you're losing ground rather than gaining it. But you're not. You're not losing ground. A lot of people give up here. They just go, I can't do this. It's not working. This doesn't work for me. And I just sit with them, and then I say, what's not working? What did you expect it to be like? And they always say, well, I didn't know, but now that I've seen this, I don't want to go backward. But you're not going backward. I had a client message me this morning, the same thing. I feel like I'm going backward. You're not losing ground. You're in the most critical phase of the game. The people who grow the most are not the most naturally gifted. As someone who is naturally gifted in certain areas, some people think, well, man, it just doesn't take much effort at all for that, right? Some people are naturally gifted in music or sports or what have you. I'm naturally gifted at performing roles. And so sometimes I got to the place in my growth where I saw that, man, I mastered this. And then something came along and I felt like I couldn't even stand up. I couldn't even see what's going on. And people would mistake, well, I just don't have the essence that you have. Well, I can fake it to myself. So don't mistake just seeing someone else be able to walk a path without looking disheveled as if they're not under renovation, because they are. The person who succeeds here, who grows the most, is not the one who's most naturally gifted in the area. They're the ones most willing to remain in the crawl, who stay in the crawl, who don't try to get up. Oh, I'm going to get up. I'm going to dust myself off. I need to crawl a little bit more, but I'm done. I can stand now. See, I can stand. It's good. No, stay present. Stay present with the ungraceful middle and quit interpreting it as failure. Say, okay, this crawl is the most powerful crawl I've ever had, because the crawl of today is not the crawl of yesterday. The floor that you're on today crawling was the ceiling of yesterday's growth. And you just move through it, and then you're crawling, and then you go up to the ceiling there, and you move through, and you're crawling, you're walking, standing, everything. Crawling is the evidence of growth. It's not failure. You keep pressing even when the pressing does not produce immediate visible results, growth, movement, etc. You trust the architecture enough to stay in the renovation long enough for the new structure to complete itself and to grow and to establish itself. See, most people don't fail at the ceiling. Oh, there's a ceiling. I can bust through this, or I've arrived, or whatever. They fail at the crawl. They press against the ceiling. They feel the discomfort of the first stages of conversion, and then they read that discomfort as confirmation that they were wrong to press. So they back away. They return to what was comfortable, and the ceiling remains a ceiling because the sustained contact required for conversion was not maintained long enough. So it's never a floor of the next level. The solution is not to be harder on yourself. It's not to increase the pressure or to extend the effort through the willpower. Say, I'm just going to do this. I got this. No, that's not personal growth. That's not expansion. That's ill motivation. The solution is to understand what's happening with such clarity that you're not surprised by the crawl when it comes along. So that when you feel slower, when you feel less certain, when you're ungraceful, when you feel like a toddler who is trying to just find their bearing, you recognize it immediately as the renovation phase, not as the failure, and you stay. So consider this. Can you identify a time in your past when you left a growth process during the crawl before the renovation was complete? I mean, what did you tell yourself about why you were leaving? What's your current relationship with looking ungraceful in the middle of growth? I mean, does the possibility of being seen as less capable than you were temporarily keep you from pressing forward? That in of itself is a mask. That in of itself is a layer. That in of itself is not the true you. I mean, what would need to be true about your interpretation of the crawl for you to be able to stay in it without treating it like you needed to hurry and get through it, or this was a failure, or this is embarrassing? And where are you currently in this crawl? Not generally. You'll know this about me. When I ask a question, I don't want generalizations. I don't want broad, swooping, poetic expressions. I want specific, named things, a specific place. So name the specific place in your life where you feel slower and less certain than you expected to feel at this time. And then write it down in full, honest sentences. First, name the last time you were in a genuine crawl. I mean, describe what it felt like. I mean, how long did it last? You felt like, my goodness, I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to grow past this. I'm never going to. You see, these things, that mindset in and of itself is a lack of presence. It's trying to get someplace else. It's trying to get to the there. Let me give you my little theological sermon on that. Life is lived right now. There is nothing 5 minutes from now. That doesn't exist. It'll be the here then. 5 days from now, 5 weeks from now, 5 years from now are fantasy. The here is the only truth. Right now, this breath. Because if we live trying to get there, then the there, when we get there, is the actual here, and we don't want to be here, we want to be there. So we're always living someplace else but the truth. When you're growing, the crawl is the now, the here. Remember the last time you felt that way and you just didn't like it. How long did it last? I mean, really. Was it a week? Was it a month? Was it a year? Did you stay there? Did you maintain? Was it something as simple as, man, if I had stayed with working out 2 days a week for the last 2 years like I was going to, I'd be healthy right now. Or like, man, I guess I'll start in January. If I'd just saved $100 a month for the last 40 years, I'd have $1 million right now. Now, did you stay in the growth? Did you leave early? Did you finish the grief cycle? Did you stand in and walk through the tunnel of anxiety? Or did you leave it all early? I mean, you remember, and this isn't an indictment. It has no indictment. Don't judge yourself in this. I mean, what was the result of whatever choice you made? We're talking about facts now, historical data. Well, I was in this crawl space here. I didn't like it, so I just backed out and left. That was the choice I made, and the result was, oh man, I didn't get finished with something that I have to finish, so now I've got to go back through it. Oh, I don't want to go back through it. Oh, I remember about it, So now we're living in the past. I mean, what was the result of the choice you made? So, remember the last time you crawled? Think about that. Second, locate your current crawl. Where are you right now in the present moment where you are in the renovation phase? I mean, name the discomfort. I'm scared. I don't feel good. It makes me uneasy. I feel stupid. How long has the discomfort been present? And then finally, write a single statement to yourself that begins this way: I am not failing. I am. And then complete that sentence with the most honest name you can give to what is actually happening in your current crawl. I am not failing. I am learning. I am not failing. I am discovering. I am not failing. I am growing. I am not failing. I'm learning to process these things. I'm not failing. I'm learning to witness my emotions. I'm not failing. I'm learning that I have to be patient. I'm not failing, whatever. And then when you're done, just think about that and tell yourself the crawl is just the next level of walk, next level of run. And I got another crawl coming. But be here. Understand it. The floor is where it all happens. I'm James. This is Unbound Freedom for Life. Let's set you free.